I've never undergone anything like this before. Halo traction is unlike anything I've ever undergone. Not necessarily the surgery aspect of it. That's different from the experience of like physically being in traction. Like obviously I've never been in Halo traction and it's going to be for a very long time, 3 months. Every day is going to look different. I'm really excited to see what this will do for me. I'm really nervous. The world is going to change tomorrow. Everything changes tomorrow. Like, my spine will never look like this again. I always imagined making a video like this, but I didn't know what my circumstances would be like when I did make this video, and to see how far I've come since this time 1 year ago, I could not be more grateful. I always imagined making one of these videos being able to reflect on where I was 1 year ago. And if you know me, you know this is one of the things that I say all of the time, and that is how fast life goes by. I truly can't fathom that it has been 1 year already. I think what makes it difficult for me to believe that it's been 1 year is I thought at this time a year ago that circumstances would be a lot different for me, that I would truly be on the other side of this journey, and I am, but there's still an aspect of this journey that I'm still really struggling with, a reality that I never imagined. To be honest, you guys will see another video where I talk about, give more of an update on my recovery, because I really haven't talked about it that much, and there's a reason to that. So you guys will hear about that in another upcoming video. But I just really wanted to take today's video to reflect on my experience in Halo traction 1 year ago. Crazy to think that 1 year ago I was in the absolute thick of it. I was 8 or 9 weeks in at this point. When you guys are seeing this 1 year ago, I was 8 or 9 weeks into Halo traction. It's going to be a lot of this that is repetitive in my Halo traction, from my Halo traction reflection video, but really having it be this 1 year mark, I really wanted to sit down and chat about it again, because if you follow me on Instagram, one thing that you hear me talk about all the time is how special those 14 weeks were in Halo traction, and I truly never imagined before beginning that journey, I never imagined those 14 weeks to be so incredibly special. I knew they were going to be difficult, but I didn't expect them to be as special as they were, as amazing as they were. Truly, I experienced this overwhelming sense of strength that I will truly never be able to describe or put into words. I just know that I could truly feel all of you lifting me up in prayer. That is truly what carried me through the most difficult 14 weeks of my life. It takes a lot of trust to put in your medical team when they tell you that in order to help you, the first process is to bolt 9 screws in your head and leave them there for 14 weeks, and then they tell you that it's a good idea. You guys know that surgery has been a part of my life since I was 5 years old, and it's a whole different level of trust. The surgery was unlike anything I've ever experienced before. I described to my friends and family as it's one thing my orthopedic surgeon to restore my mobility when I would have a fracture or insert a new rod to make my legs stronger. I put my life in their hands, and I mean ultimately my life is in God's hands, but he worked through them by me needing to do this, and this was the first step of getting me to the operating room for spinal fusion 14 weeks later. And it takes a lot of trust to trust that putting 9 screws for 14 weeks is a good idea, and that it's going to benefit you. I really trust them, and I trust God with my life. And looking back a year ago, I am so grateful for that time in traction and everything that it gave me, all the memories and all the perspective that it gave me. Truly amazing people walked into my life because of this journey, and now I can't imagine my life without them. I also received a lot of physical benefits that I missed. Also received a lot of physical benefits that I no longer have, and we knew that some of these benefits that I was going to see while in traction would only be temporary because my scoliosis is and was so severe that Halo Track could only do so much for me because they could only get the fusion as good as it was going to be. And at the time, 1 year ago, we didn't know what that was going to look like yet because I hadn't gone through it. I miss being in traction, and I remember the video that I uploaded before going into traction, before, I remember saying, some of my friends say that they miss traction, and I can't imagine that, but maybe I will, we'll see, or something to those lines. And here I am 1 year later after going through it saying, yeah, I miss it. It looks really barbaric. Treatment looks really barbaric, and it is. I won't lie, Halo Traction is pretty barbaric, but it really does work, and at least for me and many other patients that I know, and it can be very effective, and it is worth, at least for me, all of the work and sacrifice that I had to do to make it work. And I was breathing so much better. I was sitting so much straighter. You can't tell really in this video, well, I guess you probably can, because I remember when I would post videos with my halo on, you guys could comment, some of you noticed my posture even better, even though you guys see me only from here up. Some of you guys did notice, but my posture was so much better, and it's not as good as it was in traction at all. I am a lot more cooking than I was in traction. My fusion did straighten me somewhat, the tiniest bit possible, but really the goal of the spinal fusion was to prevent my scoliosis from getting worse. That was the ultimate goal. The only thing that we could ask for because of the severity that my scoliosis is and was. And so I was breathing a lot better, and my posture was a lot better. I'm physically not able to sit as straight as I was while I was in the traction, obviously, because I don't have 10 pounds of weight pulling up on my spine every day anymore. So there's a lot that I miss, and those are just some of the things that I do miss. And now I am one of those people saying that there are days that I do miss traction, and it's just crazy because, like I said, I do remember filming that video and saying, some of my friends said they missed traction, and I just can't imagine. And now here I am saying that, I saw a lot of benefit while in traction, and I felt really, really good while in traction. And overall, I'm just really, really glad that I decided to do it. And just that overwhelming sense of strength that I felt every day, being in the halo, it gave me the almost new purpose. I knew every day it gave me something to work towards every day, because every day I would get up in the morning and be like, today I am one step closer to never having to have nails in my head again. And here I am saying I miss it. I also think this is a really good reminder I want to share, and a perspective that I want to share that I don't think a lot of people think about. And looking back, I'm able to learn this, and that is some of the difficult times in your life, some of the situations that you couldn't imagine being in, or you can't imagine how you're going to get through, end up being the most strengthening, most special, most memorable times of your life, and that was definitely it for me. I didn't know how I was going to carry through each day of those 14 weeks at some point, but I did, and through God's grace and strength and all of your prayers, I was able to do that, and I'm able to sit here 1 year later and share and show you how far I've come. Endured so much since this time 1 year ago. I'm so grateful to have this platform because I'm able to look back at videos and hear myself say and talk about these difficult conversations that my medical team and I had to have leading up to whether to decide to put this halo on my head and go through a spinal fusion. This did not come without immense risk given my circumstances, and these worst case scenarios were a higher possibility for me than most scoliosis patients because of the severity of my curve. And so it's really, really humbling and really amazing and eye-opening for me to be able to. I'm so grateful that I decided to truly document every step of this journey and make these update videos, and I didn't just be like, hey, I'm having spinal fusion surgery, like I have scoliosis, blah blah blah. Like I truly sat down and documented every appointment and every update and every step of the journey and all the difficult conversations and all the difficult risks that we talked about. And from the very first conversation, I have all of that, and I have all of those thoughts that were in my head during that time and things that I shared with you that I was scared about and worried about and excited about, and now I get to come back to this channel 1 year later and share with you me being on the other side of this, how far I've come. And there's just something really special about being able to look back and have all of this and be able to rewatch some of the scariest moments of my life. Well, you didn't see like the actual moments happening other than my halo surgery, but here are the things that my team and I were worried about. And now I get to sit here 1 year later and share with you that I don't have a trach in my neck, and I have 2 fully functioning lungs that are completely independent and don't require a machine to operate for them, and that is the greatest blessing that I could have. And this halo that was on my head was one step through that process of halo traction, and it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot of strength, a lot of patience. But I will admit to you, I don't think of things that I've gone through in my life as anything extra difficult or more difficult than anyone else has gone through, because everyone deals with something. Everyone has a trial that they face every single day that they wake up. The only difference between my circumstances and someone else's is that mine are just more visible. There is not one human being on this planet that doesn't go through something and have to bear something difficult every single day of their life. Again, the only difference between theirs and mine is just more visible, and I happen to share it on the internet. But this journey really taught me a lot about strength and the strength that God gave me and His grace, really how faithful He is, because without His faithfulness, like there were days that I truly didn't know how I would carry through because it was so difficult, because there were moments screws started to fall out of my head, how overwhelming it got, and like those moments of overwhelm. And 14 weeks is a long time to have nails bolted into your head and 10 pounds of weight pulling up on your small body and having to stay home because being in transport with a halo on your head is not safe, and I had to be connected at 24/7. I just look back at all the moving parts that were involved in having this halo put on my head, all the difficult decisions that we had to make, and all realities that I had to be faced with that came with it, of whether or not this would be successful for me. At this point, 1 year ago, I hadn't even faced my spinal fusion yet, and there was still so much of this journey that was so difficult before we even got to the most difficult part of it yet. 1 year ago, like I said, I hadn't even endured my spinal fusion yet. I was still knee-deep in the halo traction process, and I grew a lot during that time, spiritually and emotionally and mentally. I am just really, really grateful for that time, and I wish that there was a way that I could convey to you truly how special it was for me and how grateful I am for the benefits that I did see while I was in traction. And I do miss it, and just to see my friends and family rally around me during the most difficult time of my life so much to me. Like, you guys truly carried me through that time, and I just want to thank you for that, because now, like 1 year later, you get to see me sit here and share how far I've come. I wasn't able to film this video like on the 1 year mark, but on the 1 year mark, I just had I made a really special day for myself. I had my favorite meals. I just really reflected on the day and took some really cute pictures in the exact t-shirt that I wore to the hospital on the morning of Halo placement surgery and took some cute pictures with a cupcake, a little candle, #1, and a cupcake to mark 1 year. Just really making it big and special. Made September 14th a really big day, and just took some cute pictures to remember that day 1 year ago. And it's crazy that when I'm filming this and you guys are seeing this, like I was in the thick of it 1 year ago. It's just amazing to me how much the human body is able to endure in such a short period of time. And to be honest with you, even 1 year later, I truly don't think I've been able to process the magnitude of what I went through. Like, I was just kind of going through the motion, and it was just, like, it's not a blur. I remember it very vividly, literally every detail, like, it's crazy. But I truly, social media only shows a glimpse, and you guys, like, only saw bits and pieces of it. It was truly just such an amazing time, and I just wanted to make this video to reflect and say thank you for being here 1 year later, be able to share with you how far I've come and for being a part of that. There's one other thing that I wanted to share. Because those 3 months were so good to me physically and mentally and emotionally, I never knew that something so difficult could be so special and that I would miss those days so much. As the weeks went by and I really started to just experience so much and just be completely moved by all the miracles that God was performing in my life during that time and the ways that I saw my community rally around. I remember thinking, like, I'm going to miss this. I truly don't think that I grasped how much I would miss it. Like, 1 year later, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, like, I wish I would have held on to those days so much tighter. Like, I remember there were some days in my Instagram post where I'm like, I'm really over today. Like, today's a hard day in Halo, and I can't wait to get my Halo off. And now, here I am a year later saying, like, I miss it. As much as I knew those days were special, like, I don't think I fully grasped how much I would miss it. And the only thing I wish I would have done differently 1 year ago is hold on to those days so much tighter. And obviously I can't really do that. But one thing I've always said, and even before I became an adult, is like how fast life goes by. And I think it's because, like, I treasure life so much and I enjoy life so much. There's just parts of my life that I've had such amazing experiences. Like, don't ever want to let go and pass by, because I realize how short life is and how short life can be. And every day is a gift, and there's so many amazing things that I've been able to experience. And this Halo traction experience was truly one of the most biggest parts of my story and chapters of my life. I just wish that I would have held on to those days so much tighter, taken even more pictures than I did. I never knew one of the most difficult parts of my life would be a part of my life that I miss the most. I'm just really grateful that God blessed me with the opportunity, that He entrusted me with that trial, that it really turned out to be the absolute biggest and best part of my story and such a blessing. And so I just wanted to sit here and just share some of my thoughts with you on, as I reflect these past few months starting in September until now when I was in the thick of it 1 year ago. Just some thoughts that I've had this past few months, and all my Facebook memories are popping up, and I just can't believe it's been 1 year. You guys will see a video coming up soon. I'm not sure when it's scheduled to go live from when this one is, but there's still an aspect of the spinal fusion recovery, even though this video is about Halo, just like my overall recovery, that I'm really struggling with, and I anticipated to be a lot different. So if you guys could wrap me in prayer, that would be really great. Oh, and also one other thing, kind of hard to tell because I have makeup on. 1 year later, you could still see my Halo scars, and I don't remember if I mentioned this in any of my Halo traction reflection videos, but I love my Halo scars. And I remember when I first started, I was like I'm probably gonna get it, like, cosmetically removed, like the scars, because they don't look like traditional scars and it will just be like a weird placement. And I'm not one to be like self-conscious about scars. I have scars like all over my body. I don't know, for some reason the Halo scars I thought I was gonna be more conscious about, because they don't look like typical scars. I never did anything surgically, not surgically, but like cosmetically to remove them or like even try to get rid of them. In fact, as much as they faded, that's another aspect, like, that I'm so sad about, because I don't know, all of this probably sounds really stupid, but unless you truly have like the moving experience, like, you will never know. So grateful that God blessed me with this trial. I would not have been able to experience these amazing things and be able to share this with you. As my scars continue to fade from my Halo, like, I'm really sad. And I think when they are completely gone is when I'm really going to be really sad. It's the last physical reminder that I have of what I went through. I've actually had no one ask me this, but if someone ever did ask me, like, what the scars were on my head, I would be able to share this miracle. Once these scars are gone, I won't have anything else physical to show anymore. Most people probably think, that's wonderful, that, you know, it means it's all good things. That means I'm healing well. I love these scars. They are my favorite scars that I have on my body because it shows and is a reminder to me, a physical reminder that I can see every single day when I look in the mirror. All of the difficult days that I went through that you guys only saw a glimpse of, that I was only able to share bits and pieces of. But the trauma and the fear and the trauma of having one of these screws replaced while I was awake, like truly the most traumatic day of my life, to have a screw bolted into your head, into your skull while you're awake. Only through God's grace and His miracles that I was able to overcome all of this. And my halo was such a time of strength and miracles and blessings and trauma and hardship and trial. So many good things wrapped into something really hard. And these scars tell a story of these miracles, of that strength, and of the goodness of my healthcare heroes. That they were willing to take a chance on me because so many other medical professionals were not. Once these scars are gone, like, I will have nothing physical on my body to remember that day. I don't know, maybe they will to some extent always be a little bit present. I don't know of anyone personally who still has halo scars many months later, or many years later I should say. So I think there will be a day that they will be completely gone. As you can see, they're already almost gone, and that's a part of this halo attraction journey that I didn't think would be so difficult for me, is to see these scars fade away, because they just mean a lot to me, and they mean a lot to what I went through. And you know, I give this all the glory to God. I'm really proud of myself too, because He gives us the free will to choose how to handle our situations, and He knows the story of our life. He writes every chapter. He also gives us the free will to decide how we're going to handle each day, what kind of attitude that we're going to have each day. Every day I look in the mirror and I see these scars, and they are a reminder of the biggest chapter of my life that I will never forget. The best, most difficult. Who knew that the most difficult chapter of my life would also be my most favorite? You don't hear a lot of people say that, but there was just so much about this that's so special. I truly hold on to every day that I have left with these scars on my head. I have to find them, but I did save every single screw that did fall out of my halo. I don't have like all the screws that were in my halo, but the ones that were remaining, because I was connected to traction during surgery. But you guys know I had a ton of screws fall out and whatnot, so I did save every single one of the screws that fell out of my halo. So I have like this physical screws, but I have to find them. I just mean I don't have anything physical on my body anymore. So I'm treasuring every day with these scars that I never knew that I would be so proud to wear these scars with so much grace and joy and gratitude on my forehead. I'm just treasuring every day that I have left with these scars, because these days are not burdened out. I'm so grateful I have so many pictures of myself. You can see these scars. In certain aspects of my life, as you can see, I'm a very nostalgic person, and I just, well, especially during special times of my life like this, because I just really enjoy life, and it's just parts of my life that were just so good and so special that I wish I could experience all over again. So this is a reminder to treasure each day and treasure your trials, because it can be such a blessing. So thank you guys for walking or rolling with me on this journey 1 year later of when I had 9 screws bolted in my head for 14 weeks, leading up to the most difficult day of my life, enduring a 9.5-hour spinal fusion surgery. Thank you guys for cheering me on along those difficult days 1 year ago, and continuing to be here and being part of my amazing community. I love you guys. Life is worth fighting for. Bye.